Hi, my name is Chloe Jones, and I did my project on the effect of social media on marketing. Basically, just to talk about how social media has influenced different types of customer behavior and how important it is for companies to understand how much of an influence it has. Social media is a huge tool that companies should use because it can bring a face to the consumer for that company. It can also create some buzz because when on Twitter, if a company replies to a tweet from just a random person, it could make that person talk about the company more, whether it's in person or even online, giving them more exposure, which is essential in selling any product. And I also believe that it is a tool that companies should use to separate themselves from their competitors. Um, the more buzz you get, the more products you're going to sell, and the more that people will recognize your brand name. One of the articles that I found was consumer activity on social media. The main point of it was basically to just say why consumers use social media and how it influences their buying decisions. This was broken up into consumer input and consumer motivations, which was then broken up into three different parts. Let's say someone is writing a review, their input would be the participation of writing that review, and their motivation would be to spread information. Um, they tested why people use social media by asking people to keep diary entries of how long they were on social media, why they were on social media, and stuff like that. Based off the findings of these diary entries, they suggested some strategies that companies can use to get their product out there on social media. This can be make information relevant on social media for everyone to see, use influencers to endorse their product, and be active on different platforms, not just Facebook, and interact with their consumers on a day-to-day basis. Another article that I found was brand communication and social media. The main point was to suggest different routes that companies should go down when performing research on social media. Consumers use social media an average of 135 minutes per day, so that just says how much of an influence it has on their daily lives. Another big point of this article was to talk about influencers. There are so many influencers nowadays that you they have to start tapping into that industry. If they don't, they're just missing out. Another point was to use artificial intelligence to narrow down their target markets, um, which I also talked about using what people put out there as their personal information, like hashtags, locations, shares, stuff like that, to benefit their companies and to make sure that people are actually interested in their products. Another thing that is suggested was to stop focusing so much on Facebook. Um, this is important because most of these articles are about Facebook and not about other platforms like Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, all of that good stuff. So if companies start to look into different platforms, it'd probably benefit them in the end and put them above their competitors. Another article that I found was online shopping and social media, friends or foes. This article pointed out if companies advertising on social media is actually translating to the amount of sales that they get online. Social media network engagement over time is positively correlated with shopping activity, while immediately it's negatively. So basically, what that is saying is that when people see an ad online, immediately they're probably not going to click on that. But over time, if they keep seeing the same ad, they might become interested. This is important for companies to understand and realize. Another thing that this article mentioned was that television can also have a great impact on consumers. So sometimes it might be beneficial for companies to focus on both social media presence and on the TV, just so customers have that repetition of seeing their product. To see if these articles are actually accurate in what they're saying, I asked my friends and coworkers a series of questions. One of these questions included the impact that influencers have on social media. I found that they actually do have a high influence on the younger generation. So if this is a part of a company's target market, they should look into doing this. I also had my family do diary entries for a few days just to see if I could have the same results as the article did. basically, my findings just reiterated the same thing that what the articles did. Analyzing these articles really put it into perspective on how important it is for companies to know their customer behavior. This can be on and off social media, but on social media, it is important because they can narrow down their target market so much easier and know what platforms they will reach that target market on. If they advertise just on TV, they might not be able to reach the exact audience that they want. Um, which brings me to the importance of the medium used. As long as customers get the repetition that is talked about in the book, they will be more likely to buy a product, and even the brand name products that they see on TV, on social media, stuff like that, people recommending them. So it's really important for companies to get out there. It is also talked about in the book how companies need to keep up with their competitors or they'll be left behind, and that is something that social media can help companies do. In conclusion, there has to be more research done on how social media influences the market. There is not enough out there, and this is actually kind of hard to find, which was very surprising for me. Another thing is that there needs to be more research onto other platforms besides for Facebook. Most of the ones that I did find only included Facebook, which is a problem for most companies. Another thing that I found is that social media can make a company more visible and help the company grow in the end. So this is basically the influence that social media has on the market today.